So folks, a warm welcome to our Real Estate Brilliance chat today. We've got Matt Jones from The Professionals. Mate, welcome and thanks for attending.
No, thanks a lot, Ryan, and cheers for inviting us to have a chat with you.
No problem, mate, no problem. So let's go back to where it all began for you, mate. When did you start in real estate? What did you do before real estate?
Okay, so real estate for me started in January 2011. Previous to that, I worked in mining for 4.5 years, and previous to that, I did an apprenticeship in auto electrics. And previous to that, I was at school.
So what made you to come into real estate? I mean, from a mining background, from auto electrics, it's very obviously using your hands. It's very technical. What made you come into real estate?
Yeah, so through working away
Yes.
and chatting with the guys up there, I'd sort of, say they were all older than me and they all had families, and a lot of them sort of never saw their kids grow up. They'd always just been out, working, whether it be, 4 weeks away, 1 week at home. And I'd sort of decided at that time that when we had kids, I was going to be at home, what it was. Unfortunately, with auto electrics, if you're in a workshop in Perth, the money's not that great. And I didn't really want to go back on the tools when I got here. So I sort of started to look into a new career. I had purchased a couple of properties whilst I was doing the FIFO gig, and thought real estate property, that's me. Little did I know that it actually has not a lot to do with property, and more, it is all 100% on people. So
yeah, that's the big mistake a lot of people make. They come into real estate saying, "Oh, I love properties, I love real estate," but that's totally not what it's about, is it?
No, not at all. Opted and made it about people, and we use property as our commodity.
So tell me, how did it go? So 2011, I think you've been on the program now 2 years. So that's 2019. So talk to us how you went from 2011 to 2019 before you became a member of Real Estate Brilliance.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2011, I started with a boutique agency here in Ellenbrook. And when I got there, they had a chat with the boss, and he basically said, I said, "Well, what do I got to do?" And he's like, "Write me a list of everybody you know in the area." And he left the sales reps area and went back to his office, and I almost followed him to his office. And I got to his office, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I've written down everyone I know in the area." And he's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Who do you know?" And I was like, "My 2 neighbors across the road." That was
Wow.
it. That's all I knew in Ellenbrook. He's like, "Oh, okay, we got some work to do."
Yeah.
So so we got out. He gave us a few scripts on door knocking, and I went out and door knocked. I chased quite a few expired listings.
Okay.
I think I listed 3 or 4 in the first couple of months of expired listings.
Okay.
And then with that company, unfortunately, the 2011 downturn happened, and they ended up closing their doors in the middle of 2011. I then went and interviewed every real estate agency in Ellenbrook, just to decide, who I wanted to work for next. And what I was really chasing at that point in time was training. That was my main priority for the company that I was going to work for.
Was what?
Training.
Okay, yeah.
Training. Yep. And at that point in time, Professionals, Granger had the best training, in-house training, as well as Professionals group training at that point in time, out of everyone that I interviewed. And 10 years on, here I am.
Okay, so you went from kind of 2012 in the new business to 2019, and you had quite good training with Granger Clark, the Professionals. and they still do training at the moment. But obviously,
Yep.
so what was your highs and lows? What did you achieve in those? What was your best year between 212 and 219?
Yep. So, well, my first 18 months in real estate, I earned a grand total of $10,000 in my pocket. The following year, I wrote 240 GCI, and then I had a couple of years of 300. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, that's when the market sort of turned, and I think we sort of held. I don't think I've dropped below 200 in that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was consistent for a few years.
And where did you come across Real Estate Brilliance first, and then when did you meet me?
Yeah, so first was Homegrown Heroes. Mm-hmm. I think that was at Crown in 2019.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we sort of finished there, and I grabbed the flyer and had a chat with Anita, and I think we caught up within about a week after that.
Yeah.
And started having a bit of a chat because I was actively looking for a coach at that point in time.
Yeah. So obviously 240, the highest is around 300. When I picked you up, it was around 200 because obviously you were, it was a tough old market at that particular time.
Yep.
So what made you reach out for training and coaching? What were your challenges and struggles? Because obviously you were making a living, but it wasn't really pretty, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was okay.
But ad hoc.
Yeah, yep. So I think, being with the company for so long, Matt Condit, my licensee, he'd give us some pretty good advice. I wouldn't necessarily, take all of it on board. Mm-hmm. But what I really needed was just the outside perspective from outside the company, and somebody that was just going to tell me how it had to be, not just suggest the idea. And I think when you're, when you're paying someone to tell you what to do, you listen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you did your first year, and and then so that was 219. When did you join? What do you remember the month? Well, it's Homegrown Heroes, so it was around September.
Yeah, September, October.
Okay.
I started, yeah.
Yep. And then so you did a full 220, which was obviously COVID, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Yep.
So, but how did you go? Like, tell me how your business has grown since you started with us to kind of now. So just tell us the journey, the 2 years that you've been with us, where your business is at, what you've done, what you've learned, and how much has helped you.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I'm predominantly, was very digital-based marketing. I did heaps of that, and hadn't actually done any sort of letterbox dropping or paper mail for more than 5 years, I reckon. So that was pretty much the first thing that we re-implemented, was getting the just solds back out there. So I've been doing those once a month. I did have an in-house PA working with me. She finished up in December last year, and we've since put on a virtual assistant. And we are also looking at a buyer manager at the moment as well. So getting one of those on. Yep. Other things that I've implemented, I think it's just been more consistency, really. A few scripts and dialogues that I've sort of brushed up on. And just all the training, just sort of picking up, little bits and pieces from the supercharged sessions, and, just implementing a few little things in there as well.
Beautiful, mate. Thanks for sharing. I think the first thing I wrote down before you even said it was consistency and more, I suppose, proactive business as opposed to inconsistent and reactive. I think that was the biggest shift for you. You were very unique because you came to me with an existing digital capacity and digital marketing, and we're going to talk about the digital stuff because you're definitely one of the leaders in our membership. But you kind of hadn't done the print stuff. You'd thought that the digital stuff replaces the print. And I think we both quickly realized that that's not the case. You need that blended approach, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. So, when I decided, because I got onto Facebook pretty early on, I think that might have been around sort of 2012. Plus, I was using the texting, which I still do a lot of, plus emails, all that sort of stuff. And I wasn't getting a lot of return from the letterbox drops at that point in time, but I was getting massive return on Facebook and social media marketing. So I was like, well, $100 on Facebook, $1,000 on letterbox drops. I just went to, it sort of made sense to go, spend all my money on Facebook. But unfortunately, over time, I think what happened was that my profile dwindled away because I wasn't in everyone's face in all capacities, not just the, not just on Facebook or in any one section. So, so I think I lost a lot of profile because of that.
So once you started multi-layering, that's when it all started to come alive. And now you're doing print, you're doing digital. We're going to talk about the text messaging in a second. But where's your income at now? What are you sort of reaching now?
Good question. I think we're at 310 to date. Hang on, just give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, something.
So you're on track for financial year, 350?
Yeah, about 350 for the year. Yeah.
350. So in a very short period of time, you've increased your gross commission by about 75%. You've structured your team, and now you really are locked and loaded to go to the next level, which is 500,000 and 600 if you want to go there. But where you do very, very well, other than the Facebook, which of course, a lot of people are doing, very few are doing it correctly. You're doing some great stuff on Facebook, but talk to us about your point of difference, your unique selling proposition or marketing proposition is, of course, text messaging. And I'm on your text message, so I get it all the time. Yeah. And I think with the funniest thing was with the stuff that you were already doing, and then the tweaks that we kind of, helped you with. Like, I know you'd been text messaging for a long time, and I was saying, how many appraisals do you get from this? And you said, not many, if any. And I said, well, why don't you try the jab, hook, which is obviously give, and then ask, hey, the market's heating up. Is anyone looking to get an update? And how many appraisals did you get in that one text?
So there was one text I got 23 appraisals from.
23
out of 1,000 text messages that were sent out. So the return on investment was pretty good on that one.
outrageous. But you do a lot of text messaging, and because I know you, I find that your text messaging is obviously you send out, you've got a sequence, which is what we try and instill in agents and their businesses, that if you're pestering people, you've got to make sure that you're pestering them with stuff that they're going to benefit from. So not only do you want to be that you're going to be a pest, but you don't want them to become immune with your stuff as well, which is kind of what started happening with your digital marketing without the print media that we added onto it. But your videos that you put out and your sequencing is actually very good. And then now and again, I know you popped the question, and you used one for a no price marketing strategy that you mentioned the other day, which I think works for you, and that's great. But it's very unique. And do you want to tell us about that text messaging side of the business?
Yeah, so the text messaging we do 2 times a month, week number 1 in the month and week number 3 in the month. So essentially once a fortnight, but occasionally we have the 5-week months. The text message that goes out at the start of the month, that one has just a little bit about what's happening in the market and our sold properties, which just links back now to our website, so that potential sellers can see what we're selling around the area.
Yes.
And then the The second text message for the month is our market video, and just a little bit about what's going on. And sometimes about once a quarter, we put the hook in there, asking them if they want to find out the new value of their home, which is where we get the extra appraisals from.
And that's amazing. And you've been doing that consistency, and you've got the record for appraisals in Real Estate Brilliance. And
I've lost it. Sorry, mate. The line just dropped out then, so I missed that.
I said, so you've done so well with the appraisals that you've got, you had the record for Real Estate Brilliance in the last month. I think you did sort of 46 or something. So that was pretty awesome. Well done.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That was a crazy month.
Now, mate, I hope you don't mind, and certainly if you do, we can cut this out. But you've also had quite a major personal challenge with the riding accident. Do you mind sharing that? Because I think how you've come back from that and the changes that you've made in your life, I think is really, I suppose, inspirational to the viewers. Can you share that?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it was October 2017. I'd been training for 12 months for the Cape to Cape mountain bike race. That's a 4-day, 200-kilometer event, and I can say I was very fit. And 5 days before the race, I hit a jump a little bit too fast and ended up missing the down ramp and landing on my head. And I crushed 3 vertebrae in my back. So I crushed T12. That was a 50% compaction. And I also did a little bit of damage to L4 and L5. But I did need to have surgery on T12. So I spent 9 days in hospital, had surgery. At point in time, 2017, I couldn't really afford to have time off. So I was back at work 2 weeks after, or 3 weeks. I had 3 weeks off in total, and was back at work, and just sort of had to try and continue on and get through it. I suppose stuff that I've sort of implemented since then, since that crash, I've been on a self-healing journey, really. And with downturn, work was pretty stressful. Trying to recover from an injury, that was pretty stressful. So we made, health-wise, we made quite a few changes. Sort of changed my diet quite a fair bit. Now, instead of eating 500 to 600 grams of meat a day, I eat about 200 grams a week. 200 grams a week of meat or products there. So very minimal meat, very plant-based diet. Alcohol did get pretty bad there for a while in the recovery. Was definitely using that to, self-medicate. So we've cut that right back now, and getting back into the exercise, a lot of mindfulness, a lot of yoga, meditation. So yeah, getting the holistic approach there, they're happening, and definitely reaping the rewards out of that now.
So, mate, congratulations, first of all, on your recovery. I mean, to recovery from effectively breaking your neck, or was it your back?
It was my back. T12's right in the middle of the back.
Yeah. So having had a compression fracture at T9, I know what it's like. I came down in a skydiving accident, which is another story. But to break your back and then have 3 weeks off work because you have to provide for the family, I think is insane. But I know you struggle tremendously with pain, and I think that is, how is the pain these days?
The pain has been awesome for about 12 months. It's really manageable. Like we're talking sort of well. The point that it got to was, out of a score of 10, it was about 11 or 12. First thing that, first thing in the morning, as soon as I woke up, that was the first thing I was, thought about. Now we're down, if it reaches a 3 at any time, no matter how stressful my life, we'd be very, very lucky to now. So, we're at a really good manageable stage now.
And that's as a result of what you've done. So you've gone into a very much a holistic approach and diet and mindset and all that. And we've been working with you through that as well. And you've been inspiration for me because I've cut out a lot of meat and I eat very little meat now myself because obviously of my inflammation issues. But mate, that's awesome. That's an awesome story. Congratulations for coming back. So where to from here for Matt Jones? You're kind of knocking on 400, 350. Where do you plan on going from here?
So from here, from a work perspective, where I plan on is I've got a new VA starting tomorrow, so I get to do another 3 months of training. I'm pretty excited about that. We're in the process of finding a buyer manager as well, which you're probably not 100% aware of yet, but we'll.
I'm not. So that's good news. Music to my ears.
Yeah. So my boss came to me the other day and said, "We've got a new agent. We're starting. We want to team him up with you." So we're in discussions of how we're going to sort of structure the team for that one at the moment. So yeah. So that. So get that cranking. Get all and then sort of. I suppose we're going to have to restructure the business again to accommodate everyone within it, and then the goal will be to push sort of over 600 hopefully within the next 12 months. From a outside of work perspective, family's one, plenty of I want to try and have a bit more time off.
Lost you there, Matt? Oh, there you are. You're back. Sorry, your sound dropped out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you're back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry, mate. The phone started ringing. It cuts
okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. From a outside of work perspective, family first. So spend a bit more time with the family. Try and get on a few more holidays. We've been working 6 days a week since 2012. So quite a while. And get back into more serious riding, and try and get back up to that fitness level that I was at pre-accident in 2017.
Well done, mate. That's great. Last but not least, and you've got a beautiful family. We've met them all, and love having them at our social events and Christmas parties, and they're a good fun bunch. Give us 2 or 3 tips for agents who are, I suppose, in their first 5 years haven't quite cracked that 300 mark. What would you suggest to them?
If you haven't quite cracked 300, build your database. You need to get as many contacts on there as possible. My first, with only when I started, I only knew 2 people in the area. I built my whole database on door knocking. So get out there every day. I used to do 4 days a week, 2 hours a day. Just door knocked for the first 3 years. Once you've done that, keep in touch with them. In all avenues. So text message, Facebook, email, letterbox drops. Just keep in touch with them as often as possible. Build those relationships.
Yeah.
The other thing that I do is sponsorship. Get involved with a local club, preferably if you've got somewhere that you're at all the time.
Yeah.
So I sponsored the senior football club in Ellenbrook when I was playing. The cricket club, I spent a fair bit of time down there, and I also do the junior football. My son's just got into junior football, so fingers crossed we'll start reaping a bit more benefit from that sponsorship. So and then that would probably be the biggest ones, I think.
And what about training and coaching? How do you value that in the whole process?
Training and coaching is 100%. You when I changed companies the first time, it was all for training and coaching. When I came and seen you back in 2019, I was a level where our in-house training and coaching just wasn't quite enough, and I needed a bit more outside perspective. So I've always put training and coaching, it's right at the top of the list. So 100%, find a great coach like yourself and get on board, listen to what they say, and also interact with everybody that's, part of that coaching team. Find out what they're doing, listen to what they say, and, power on.
So education, coaching, and environment, those three together, without a doubt, are what takes you to the next level and the next level and the next, So it's a combination of a system, somebody to keep you accountable and shepherd you and show you the right direction. And of course, being around similar people who are prepared to invest in themselves to go to the next level.
Yeah, correct. That's 100%.
Spot on, mate. You've been absolutely brilliant. Really appreciate your time. It is most valued, and great to have you on as a second-year member, and look forward to working together with you, mate. Check in for a one-on-one soon so we can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll do, mate.
Hire manager.
Yeah, we'll do, mate. I'll check in next Tuesday.
Thanks very much. Cheers,
Good
mate.
on you,
Bye.
mate. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.